You know, one thing that really annoys me about draft leagues is that there's always going to be that one matchup that is so horribly bad for you that there's not really much you can do about it. And you could argue that, well, that's where prep comes into play and you can be creative and whatnot. Yeah, but still, there's no denying that a bad team matchup is a bad team matchup, and that's exactly what we have here for week number 4 of EWT. I don't know why it says season 2. I'm gonna fix that right now while I'm on the builder because I said I was gonna do this last week and I just didn't do it. Okay, so now it'll say season 1 for next week. But yeah, we are taking on Merrilt, coach of the Slovenian Slowbro. So que pasa YouTube? How's it going, everybody? For those of you who may not know who Merrilt is, he is currently 3-0, so he is definitely going to be a tough opponent to take down, especially with this bad of a team matchup that we do have. His channel link and stuff will be down below in the description for you guys to go ahead and check out. He does do a bunch of live Wi-Fi battles, so if you're looking for new people to watch, then hey, go check him out. Why not? So I'm really hoping that we can pull out a victory here because we were able to win week 3, which put us at 2-1. But if I'm being realistic with y'all, we may take an L in this match, and I just need to hope and pray that we don't face Merrill in playoffs, or that I can bust out something crazy in playoffs, because right now this is going to be a really rough game. Mainly because his team, for one, is absolutely disgustingly fat. He's got Jirachi, Florges, Tangrowth, Arcanine, Audino, Claydol's decently bulky, but it's an Unmon, so I'm not worried about it. Salamence can be pretty bulky, honestly, if you were to want to bring it. He's got triple Intimidate, so Stoutland's matchup is a little bit rough, along with my physical attackers. Silvally is decently bulky, so if that does come, that could be a bit of a pain. It can gain a momentum. Obviously, it could potentially set up as well. So yeah, he's just got a lot of fat. Even though his team is really slow, which is kind of good for us, it's not really that helpful when so much of his team is so disgustingly bulky, and he can wish pass, he can pivot with regen. So yeah, this matchup is really rough. Offensively wise, offensive Life Orb Arcanine is an absolute nightmare to deal with. So if he brings Arcanine, I need to assume that it's going to be offensive most likely. Rotom Frost Dual Stab, and Rotom is one of the Zmons, so with its Dual Stab, it can absolutely just obliterate my team. So that thing is going to be a giant problem. Jirachi is just annoying because it's a Jirachi. It can choose to flinch you down. It can be fat defensive with Wish. It can set up with Calm Mind. It can be Cosmic Power. There's so much that Jirachi can do, and it's honestly just so frustratingly annoying to really pinpoint what kind of set it's going to be running, because I have no idea what it's running. The Heligo late game could also be a little bit scary potentially. Mega Gyarados is something I honestly don't expect in this game, because much like Mence, they don't really have the best matchup, and there is no way that they should really ever get up 2 Dragon Dances on me. So besides that, I'm really not concerned about Mega Gyarados or Salamence coming to this game. So a part of me really doesn't expect Mega Gyarados, but if it does come, it really shouldn't be that big of an issue. And then Salamence basically has a less chance to freely set up than Mega Gyarados, because it is first turn Mega. So instead of Gyarados being water flying, it'll be water dark, which means it's not weak to certain things that Salamence is weak to, which makes it a little bit more annoying to try and deal with. But hopefully it doesn't come the Mega Gyarados anyways, but we can maybe play around it if it does. So yeah, basically this matchup is just really annoying. So let's take a look at our first team member here, which is going to be Cobali Jolt, aka Cobalion. So all the nicknames for my mons this season are going to be after some of my good friends from the Draft League community. So yeah, we have Cobali Jolt, who is a big fan of Cobalion. Love Jolt too. Awesome dude. So Cobalion is actually a really good pivot in this game, especially with the Salt Vest. Like, there's really not much that... Actually, I don't even think there is anything that could 2-hit KO us that does not hit us super effectively, is what I'm trying to say. With stab too. For example, like a Moonblast from Florges only does like 20-ish%, I think, like 20, 25, maybe 30, it depends. But besides that, like everything else we can take on pretty easily, except I guess Fire Blast from Arcanine, but I don't expect that. We can also tank a Fire Blast from Salamence if you were to run that as well. And then because we already have such high natural Fizz Def, we can take anything on the physical side that is not boosted or that is stab super effective against us. So this can pivot into so much of his team. I'm a little bit iffy on whether or not I want to keep Poison Jab on this set because I originally had Hidden Power Ice for the Salamence, but after you see the team, I really feel like we have enough measurements for Salamence, so I really don't feel like I need HP Ice. Plus, Poison Jab is really handy if we are outside of the misty terrain. Then I can Poison Jab Tangrowth and maybe try to fish for a poison, which with Stealth Rocks, Sand, and Poison damage, even if it does have Regenerator, it's not going to be that helpful for it, and then that'll make it a lot easier for us to try and break through it. I don't know if it'll be Fizz Def or Assault Vested. Either way, though, it'll be annoying, so I'm going to need to find out exactly what set it is running. But yeah, we have almost max HP, a bunch of Spadef. The last 48 were just split into our defense, so we could take physical hits a little bit better, just because we don't really need Cobalion to do damage in this game. We just need this to pivot in and out and gain momentum, maybe fish for a poison or two, and we can just kind of go from there. So our next team member is going to be Tyranitar, aka Natar, nicknamed after my boy Mewtwo fan Nate. And much like last week, offensive max attack Tyranitar actually is kind of terrifying for my opponent to deal with. Like, look at the set and look at his team. There's really nothing that he has that appreciates switching into Tyranitar's dual stab, even if he has Tangrowth. Unless, well, no, see, that's the thing about Tangrowth. If it's Assault Vested, I think after Rocks and Sand, it's a roll on whether or not Stone Edge can 2-hit KO him. And then if he's physically defensive, Fire Blast, even though we are a minus special attack nature, can 2-hit KO Tangrowth. So that in itself is really, really handy. Like, literally, I only have Fire Blast for the Tangrowth, but I don't know, I guess it hits Jirachi, but I can crunch Jirachi. Okay, anyways, Fire Blast is just really there for Tangrowth, and then Dual Stab basically hits everything else, and then we have Stealth Rocks, because Stealth Rocks are going to be very, very handy in this battle. And then we have enough speed to outspeed a non-speed EV'd Florges, if I'm not mistaken, and a non-speed EV'd Claydol. Or if they are running a little bit of speed, then we speed creep that speed, and hopefully he's not reaching over 100 speed on either of those two. So this Tyranitar can definitely put in a lot of work. The EV spread is kind of basic, but it gets the job done, so I'm not too concerned about it. Our next team member is going to be Stoutland, aka Stout Kelly, nicknamed after my boy Kelly Under the Radar, who we took over in this season of EWT, actually. So Choice Banded Stoutland, I don't care if he's got Jirachi. I have Crunch, which already obliterates Jirachi, and if Jirachi's offensive, Return does so much damage. I think like max HP Jirachi takes like 35, it's like 30 or 35% min from a Return, which I guess may not be that impressive, but because it's resisted and it's still a Jirachi, that is really good damage. That means that after Stealth Rocks and Return damage, it's not going to be safely switching in later. Or if I know the Jirachi is his answer to my Stoutland, then that means I can just catch you with a Crunch, get rid of it, and then I just click Return on the entirety of his team and basically murder everything. Not even Fizz Def Tangrowth appreciates really taking two Adamant Choice Banded Returns, because it does still do a lot of damage. Now, yes, he does have potential Intimidate Arcanine and Intimidate Salamence, as well as potentially Intimidate Gyarados before it Megas. But even then, those Mons are still going to be taking a gigantic chunk of damage from Stoutland's Return. So I don't know if you can hear my voice. I'm losing my voice. I'm sorry. What was I saying? I think I was saying that Return basically just murders everything, basically. Like, there's not really anything that he has that can effectively deal with my Stoutland. Like, not even Fizz Def Tangrowth appreciates taking two Adamant Choice Banded Stab Returns, especially with Stealth Rocks and Stand Up. Plus, if we are able to poison it, then it's even less of an answer. Or if it's Assault Vested, it's straight to a KO'd. Basically, Stoutland can come in, click Return. Things should be dropping, especially if we are able to get up our rocks. And if Sand is up, then that's even more chip damage, and that's way more beneficial to us. So as long as Gyarados and Mence never get up to +2 speed, which hopefully they won't be able to, then I don't really need to worry about them. So we can destroy basically everything and anything with Return and Crunch. Superpower and Ice Fang are really just filler moves. Like, I could have just gone Return and Crunch, honestly, and been perfectly fine, I'm pretty sure. But I think having Superpower and Ice Fang is still kind of worth something. Like, Superpower hits Audino and Rotom, I guess, and Ice Fang hits Salamence. So yeah, I may just go 2 moves, honestly. Fuck it, why not? no, but yeah, the last 2 moves have some merits, but I'm probably just going to be clicking return and crunch, honestly. If for some reason he doesn't have Jirachi, then I'm just kind of clicking return to get kills. So yeah, our next team member here is going to be, hopefully, Shiny Tapu Fini, aka Michael Fini, nicknamed after my good friend Weedle Twin Needle. This is a very effective pivot, much like Gladion in this match. It can switch into so much of his team, and with how bulky... okay, I need to wrap this up. And with how bulky Tapu Fini really is, it allows me to run a good amount of special attack investment because this basically smacks everything decently hard. This also ensures that there should be no way that Mega Gyarados ever sets up twice on my Tapu Fini, which in itself is really, really huge. Nature's Madness into Moonblast or Surf still does pretty good damage to his walls. I would have liked to not have to run Defog on this set, but you will see why we have Defog on the set here. So yeah, the special attack investment is just there so we ensure 2-hit KO on Mega Gyarados. A bit of defense with the Bold Nature so we can take physical hits, and the last 40 weren't really that useful, so we just chucked some into Spadef and 4 into Speed. So yeah, Finish is really here to pivot in and out, hopefully, and stop things from absolutely destroying us. So because we have Defog, that means we are bringing Pantherona, aka Volcarona. Now, I really was iffy on what last Mon I wanted on this team, and I figured I need to have a Scarfer regardless, just because, yeah, I do have Stoutland, but honestly, having some type of Scarfer is still a good measurement to try and deal with something that potentially wants to set up on me. And the nice thing about this too is that Volcarona can also try to pivot into Jirachi and hopefully fish for Flame Body burns, or if Gyarados hits me with a physical move, then I can potentially burn it as well with Flame Body. Obviously, this is if we are outside of the Misty Terrain. So yeah, Dual Stab HP Ground hits everything except for the Salamence, but I'm a lot less concerned about Salamence than I am of the Mega Gyarados, so I really don't mind not hitting Mega Gyarados. And then HP Ground is just there because we can do a lot of damage to the Heligo. Even in the Sandstorm, HP Ground still does a really good chunk of damage. And then U-Turn is there in case I want to surprise something, like maybe I predict him to switch out. I can U-turn out, gain momentum from there. But I'm going to try and not reveal to him that I have U-turn, because I want to keep the fact that this is Scarfed kind of hidden from him. Because if he doesn't expect it to be Scarfed, this can come in late game and basically sweep. So that's kind of the idea behind the set, is to hopefully come in, surprise something, or stop something from potentially sweeping me, mainly just the Mega Gyarados. So yeah, I'm really hoping that this set can put in a little bit of work. And then our final team member is going to be Mega Alakazam. Now, I know I don't have Dazzling Gleam, but I figured that with Tapu Fini, Stoutland, even Gladion, and with now Scarf Volcarona, we don't really need Dazzling Gleam. Like, I can get the merits behind having Dazzling Gleam, but I'm really hoping that with 4 of our team members able to deal with Mega Gyarados, then it shouldn't be that big of an issue, so we can get rid of it, and then Mega Alakazam can be Recover Calm Mind, because with Psychic and Shadow Ball, we basically murder the entirety of Meryl's team besides the Mega Gyarados, which a good majority of our team already deals with. So with this being such a defensive Alakazam, this can come in. I can take physical hits pretty well. For example, even if he has like Life Orb, Adamant, Arcanine, after I Trace Intimidate, I can live 1 Flare Blitz, which is actually really good, and then knock him out with Psychic potentially. And because his speed tiers are so bad, I literally only need 4 speed EVs to outspeed the entirety of his team without me having to... without them being boosted, sorry. So yeah, I'm hoping that Mega Zam can put in a lot of work in this game. The nice thing about it too is that with Trace, if I bring this in an Audino or the Tangrowth, then I'm going to be able to trace their Regenerator, and that in itself gives me free HP anytime I switch in and out. So while Psyshock might seem a little bit better than Psychic, I figured Psychic might ultimately be more useful in case he does have like physically defensive Arcanine for Stoutland, or I guess like Fizdef, Salamence potentially. His Florges can be more physically defensive, like Tangrowth can be more physically defensive too. And at +1, I still 2-hit KO basically everything though, so if I do get up a Calm Mind because I am modest, almost max special attack, it doesn't really matter that I have Psychic over Psyshock, because again, I'm 2-hit KOing basically everything that he has. So Mega Zam can definitely do a lot of work in this game, and I promise that this time I will not forget about Trace. Okay, I promise. I will not forget about Trace in this week's game. For those of you who may not know, watch week 3. Just skip to the end of the battle. You will know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, guys, that is going to be our squad here for week number 4 of EWT. I guess I'm going to go rest my voice. I'm really hungry too, so I'm going to go eat. And with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow on Wednesday with the battle. So thank you all for watching. Later, everybody.
Because my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears of hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, hoping.